And we are live.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the July 16, 2020 meeting of the Nassau County Planning Commission. Preliminary statement. Due to the coronavirus emergency and state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings and pursuant to Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 220.1 issued on March 12, 2020, suspending the open meetings law, the July 16, 2020 Planning Commission meeting will be held electronically via Zoom and may be viewed by the public via live stream on Zoom as described below. And it'll be listed as the July 16, 2020 NCPC meeting. The public may send in their comments for the public portion of the meeting via email to the address below. The Nassau County Planning Commission will review and consider these public comments prior to making a final decision. A recording of the meeting will be posted on the Nassau County Planning Commission website. Instead of a public meeting open for the public to attend in person, members of the public may listen to or log into the video conference. Access and instructions for Zoom is available on the Nassau County Planning Department webpage at www.nassaucounty.ny.gov/2856/planning-department. Final decisions will be made on items contained in sections B, C, and E at the July 16, 2020 NCPC meeting. The Nassau County Planning Commission will be accepting public comments for the public portion of the July 16th meeting by email, which can be sent to ncpc@nassaucounty.ny.gov. The Planning Commission will accept public comments via email for agenda items contained in section B, 2 through 3, and D before making a final decision on the matter. The public will have until 4 p.m. on Monday, July 20th, to email their comments for items contained in agenda items B, 2 through 3, and D to the email address specified above. Late comments received after Monday, July 20th at 4 p.m. will not be accepted or considered. So they must be sent before 4 p.m. on Monday to the ncpc@nassaucounty.ny.gov. A second meeting will then take place after public comments are received, reviewed, and considered by the Planning Commission for each item contained in agenda sections B and D on Thursday, July 23rd at 9 a.m., where the Planning Commission will make a final decision on each item contained in agenda sections B and D. This meeting will also be conducted during a virtual meeting program, and access instructions will be provided on the Nassau County Planning Department homepage. Okay, with that, we'll do roll call. Commissioner Warren, you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Here.
Okay, Commissioner Shaper,
Here.
Commissioner Ellaby,
Here.
Commissioner Blue,
Present.
Third Vice Chair Lewis,
Present.
Second Vice Chair Shapiro,
Here.
First Vice Chair Greenfield,
Present.
and Chairman Glennon. We're all here. Okay. Acknowledgement of the receipt of the transcripts for June 25th and July 2nd of the Planning Commission meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, very good. All right, OSPAC. I need a motion to open up the public comment period for OSPAC.
So moved.
Second. Second.
Okay, the meeting is now open. John?
The first case is public hearing, NCPC Ospec File 5 of 2020. This is to convey property at 120 Terrace Avenue in the Incorporated Village of Hempstead, Section 34, Block 289, Lot 157. I just need to bring a few people in.
And commissioners, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself.
The Village of Hempstead Community Development Agency would like Nassau County to convey the subject property for affordable housing purposes. DPW approves the conveyance without condition. We received a letter dated July 13th, 2020 from the Village of Hempstead Mayor Don Ryan stating—
John, hold on one second. Bob O'Brien, can you mute yourself? I'll do it. Never mind. No, I can't do it. Can you mute him
now?
John?
Marty, you can mute whoever you want now.
Hey, okay.
Got him. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. So now I have today with us, we have um, Charlene Thompson, the Commissioner of the Village of Hempstead CDA, as well as Kevin Walsh from Nassau County Real Estate, also County Attorney, as well as Ted Hommel from the Nassau County yeah, the Nassau County Attorney's Office.
Good morning.
Good, good morning. This is Kevin Walsh from the Office of Real Estate Services. I hope all the commissioners, I hope you're all well. This is a proposed conveyance of a small county vacant sliver in the village of Hempstead to the Community Development Agency for affordable housing purposes. The county has in the past conveyed similar properties to the village of Hempstead CDA. Charlene Thompson, who is the Executive Director of the CDA, is available to answer questions as well.
Morning, Ms. Thompson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So did you have anything you wanted to add to speak to on the development?
Absolutely. So the CDA has undertaken affordable housing initiatives where it's two-pronged. We will acquire what we call zombie homes to rehabilitate them and put them back on as affordable housing projects. In addition, we have several vacant lots, and we have acquired 118 Terrace, which is a zombie home that was fire damaged. And then when we went to acquire 118 Terrace, we realized the lot next door was vacant. And through research, we found the county owned it. So we're looking to develop a model that has been approved by our Planning and Zoning Board for one of our other properties, which is a duplex with 2 single-family home ownership units. And this would be co-developed with the Hempstead Village Land Trust and to create a long-term affordable housing project with a 99-year ground lease with restrictive covenants. And they will be income eligible homeowners who will move into this. And the selection process will be done through a lottery.
So I have a question. The restrictive covenant is going to be between the land trust and the CDA?
No, the restrictive covenant will be between the homeowner and the land trust.
And Kevin, what about the county? Shouldn't we be putting in a restrictive covenant as well on the conveyance of the land?
There will be also covenants in the deed for affordable housing, similar to covenants we've put in with such transactions in the past to ensure it remains affordable, for the period of whatever benefits the land trust or the village CDA seek. So there will definitely be restrictive covenants for affordable housing in our deed.
Okay. So, and will that be there for OSBAC to decide as well?
I don't know per se. I mean, OSBAC, it was obviously presented by Charlene also as an introduction at OSBAC for these purposes as for affordable housing. I don't know per se if it has to be a condition, but whatever business terms we work out, whether there's no recapture notes and mortgages and things like that, similar projects we've done in the past, we've always had restrictive covenants in the deed for affordable housing to ensure it remains affordable. But our goals are aligned with the village CDA to develop this for affordable housing and also to obviously put it back on the tax rolls. It's a surplus property to the county.
Okay, well, that's it. That's the only thing I'm gonna want to see, make sure that we have that restriction when we go forward.
Yeah,
That will definitely be in our covenants as well.
Okay. Any other commissioners? Okay, so as you heard, this is going to remain open until next Thursday, July 23rd for public comment. So the public portion of this hearing is going to remain open until Monday afternoon. And after receiving comments, we'll consider it on next Thursday at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I need a motion to close the public hearing for Ospec Files 3/2020 and 4/2020.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Opposed? All right, public comment period's now closed. John?
Actually, last meeting, the public comment period was already closed for these items. These are for NCPC Ospec Files 3 of 2020 and 4 of 2020, both permanent easements. 3/2020 is Coliseum Parking Lot and Charles Lindbergh Boulevard in Uniondale, Garden City, zip code, Town of Hempstead, Section 44, Block F, Lot 41, and Case 4, 2020 is in the vicinity of the new Nassau County Police Academy on Perimeter Road in Uniondale, Garden City, zip code, Town of Hempstead, Section 44, Block F, Lot 182. So at the OSPAC meeting last week on July 8th, the OSPAC committee approved the easement 5-0 without condition for both cases. Again, we have on the line Ted Hommel and Kevin Walsh from Nassau County Real Estate, as well as PS&G representatives.
All right, Kevin, you're up again.
Yes, good morning again. This is the, similar to some others we've done in the past, a request for permanent easements for PSC&G for two major projects, obviously, in the heart of the county, one being the Police Academy and also the hub development. These switchgear locations, which are relatively small in area, I believe one is about 500 square feet and the other is slightly larger, is for the growing needs of electric. We will get compensation for these easements pursuant to valuation of an appraisal. And I know this was presented by PSC&G. I think they could answer more specific questions about the project, but these will be for permanent easements.
Okay, commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on OSPAC 3/2020.
So moved.
And that's to recommend the disposition of the property to the ledge
Yes.
without condition.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
You also need to make a seeker recommendation.
Oh, I don't see it on it. Oh, yes, with the neg deck. Sorry. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll just go through the roll call. Commissioner Warren?
She's muted.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Shaper?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellaby? You gotta unmute yourself, Mr. Ellaby, Commissioner.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Blue?
Yes.
Third Vice Chair Lewis?
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Shapiro?
Yes.
First Vice Chair Greenfield?
Yes.
And Chairman Glennon, yes. Okay. I'll entertain a motion on OSPAC 4/2020.
Mr. Chair, move approval of OSPAC 4/2020 with a neg deck.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call. Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Hello? You gotta unmute yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Shaper?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellaby?
Yes.
Commissioner Blue?
Yes.
Third Vice Chair Lewis?
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Shapiro?
Yes.
First Vice Chair Greenfield?
Yes.
Chairman Glennon, yes. Okay, so those will move on to the ledge. Next agenda item, the extension of time. I think Kevin's going to be handling this one as well.
Yes.
Yes,
just before it's-
I'm representing the Department of Real Estate Services in this transaction, and I am going to recuse myself.
Okay, Council Pat Gallagher has recused himself from this, and I will mute him.
Yes, good morning. Kevin Walsh again. This is a request for an extension of time in connection of a minor subdivision of a small portion of a basin that was already approved by this commission and the county legislature to the Long Island Railroad in connection with the third track project. It's an extension of time for the closing, which was delayed, unfortunately, due to the current pandemic crisis. But upon the extension of this, we hope to be closing in escrow in the very short term.
Okay. So that's an extension of time through October 24th, 2020,
I believe that's the request, yes.
right? And I think you said we'll probably have this wrapped up within a month anyway, so.
Correct.
All right, so there's a request for an extension of time through October 24th, 2020. Can I get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion on NCPC file 19 of 2019 for an extension of time to October 24th, 2020.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, roll call.
you.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaper,
Yes.
Commissioner Ellaby,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
Yes.
Third Vice Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Shapiro,
Yes.
First Vice Chair Greenfield,
Yes.
Chairman Glennon, yes. Okay. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Kevin. Moving on to agenda item D. E1.
This is NCPC file 23-2020, an application from Intercounter Properties LLC and Ziotis Realty LLC for a 2-parcel minor subdivision. The 12,000 square foot area subject property is situated on the south side of North Queens Avenue in the hamlet of North Massapequa in the town of Oyster Bay. The application proposes to subdivide the property, which has 120 feet of frontage on North Queens Avenue, into 2 equal parcels. Proposed lot 1 and 2 will have 60 feet of frontage by 100 feet for a total of 6,000 square foot area parcel. The town of Oyster Bay Zoning Board of Appeals has approved the request for variances for the proposed subdivision being in zone R17. Variance to construct a new dwelling on subdivided lot having less lot area and width of lot than permitted by ordinance. And here to speak on this application is Kevin Walsh.
Morning, council.
Good morning. Thank you for hearing the case. As described, this is a request for a subdivision of 2 lots that received Town of Oyster Bay Zoning Board approval. The houses that are proposed to be built will comply with zoning in all other respects other than the lot size. The lots proposed and the lots approved by the Oyster Bay Zoning Board are in significant conformity with the surrounding lots. The lots in the area on North Queens, they run from 40 to 80. There's 1 or 2 100-foot lots, but if you check the radius map and the aerial, you'll see that they do. This house is a small house located more on the west side. It's going to be taken down anyway. It's outlived its life. And therefore, the zoning board found, and we agree, that the area is developed in a way that would support these 2, what are modest houses. We've met all setbacks along the side. We did tweak at the zoning board case. We tweaked the setback on the east side to accommodate the owner there, who asked for the 15 feet on that side. We did discuss this with neighbors at that zoning hearing, and we're asking for the subdivision approval. Now, I think Nassau County, the Planning Commission has already seen this in some capacity in a referral from Oyster Bay.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
Well, council, this is a part of Massapequa where they, I think if I remember correctly, they actually upzoned at one point to make it more than 60 foot wide. Right.
That's correct. It went to 70.
Yeah.
And if you look at the area, if you were trying to thought about then, they have a couple of hundreds, and obviously this is really the only 120. There is, by the way, 120 or a little more than 120 down the road, but that is a fully developed lot. It's to the west of us. It's fully developed with pool, built out house, an enormous house. And so this is, I think, I don't think when they upzoned, they were attempting to capture these last few 120-foot lots. I think that's the point, yes.
Right, okay, well, point well taken. I grew up on a 60 by 100 in Beth Page. It's hard to argue that it's out of character with Massapequa, where I live now. As you said, the one right next to it is a 40. Is that right? The just to the east?
There are 3 4,000 square foot parcels and 3 5,000 right in the 200-foot radius.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Counselor, this will remain open for public comment until Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. For the public that's listening, you need to submit your comments by email to ncpc@nassaucountyny.gov by Monday at 4 p.m. And we will reserve action until next Thursday, July 23rd at 9 a.m. when we meet.
Understood. Understood. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Counsel. Next.
This is NCPC file 24-2020, an application from Caplan Homes Incorporated for a 2-parcel minor subdivision at 3314 Woodward Avenue in Wantagh, New York. The 18,750 square foot area subject property is situated on the south side of Woodward in the hamlet of Wantagh, town of Hempstead. The application proposes to subdivide the property, which has 120 feet of frontage on Woodward Avenue, into 2 separate parcels. Proposed lot A will have 60 feet of frontage by 150 feet for a total of 9,000 square foot area parcel. Proposed lot B will have 60 feet of frontage by 150 feet with an attached 10-foot by 75-foot parcel adjoining the southeast quadrant for a total of 9,750 square foot area parcel. The Town of Hempstead Department of Buildings has issued a letter of zoning compliance for the proposed subdivision, and the application is considered as of right. The majority of the other homes in this area are 9 to 10,000 square foot area parcels, with some going as large as 17 and 24,000 square feet. Here to speak on this application is Howard Abertine.
Good morning, Counselor. Where is he?
Here I am. Sorry about that. I was muted. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Appearing for the applicants, Howard Abertine, 575 Underhill Boulevard, Syosset. This is the application of Paula Nallen and Caplan Homes Incorporated for a 2-lot subdivision. The premises under application is located on the southerly side of Woodward Avenue, 100 feet east of Beach Street in Wantagh. It has a frontage of 120 feet on the southerly side of Woodward Avenue and a depth of 150 feet. It has a total lot area of 18,750 square feet and is developed with a single-family dwelling, in-ground swimming pool, and pool house. The premises has a street address of 3314 Woodward Avenue. It is also known as Section 57, Block 110, Lot 1257 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. By this application, the applicants seek approval to subdivide the premises into 2 parcels. Plot A on the westerly side of the property will have 9,000 square feet of lot area. Plot B on the easterly side of the property will have 9,750 square feet of lot area. Both parcels will have street frontages of 60 feet on Woodward Avenue and a depth of 150 feet. As Mr. Hosel indicated, both parcels are fully zoning compliant and so they will be developed with new single-family homes after the property is conveyed from the applicant Paula Nallen to the contract vendee Caplan Homes, which has a conditional contract in place to acquire this property subject to approval of the application before you today. Single-family homes will be constructed on each of the parcels, which will be entirely zoning compliant. No variances at all will be sought with respect to the proposed new homes from the town of Hempstead, and they will be single-family homes exclusively. I received a communication from Wayne Edwards on behalf of the adjoining property owner directly to the west of the property, the last name being Canellis, Kanellis, and they had a request that we try to increase the proposed side yard between the new dwelling that will be constructed there and the Canellis property. And we agreed that there would be a side yard on the westerly side with respect to parcel A, plot A, that would be no less than 9 feet. And that's agreeable both to the applicants as well as agreeable to the Canellis property owner directly adjacent. As also was noted, the property, as the subdivision as proposed, fits in with the surrounding area. You can see by reviewing the radius map that there are oversized parcels, there are undersized parcels. You have several parcels with 50-foot widths and many with 60. You have parcels with depths significantly less than that which exists on the subject premises. So essentially, you still do have 50% more lot area than is required within the town of Hempstead Residence A district with respect to both of these parcels. And so we would respectfully request that the application be granted as submitted. And of course, I can answer any questions that the commission may have.
Commissioners?
Counselor, 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
Number one, as I look at the aerial map that we were provided, it looked like there was a pool in the rear yard. Is that pool being terminated?
Yes.
Okay, and also there's that 750-foot extra bump out on the corner there. Most zoning codes have parallel lines requirement. How did that come about? Was that to accommodate the pool and the side yard setback that they acquired that property?
I don't know the answer to that. I think this lot was always, at least as far as I could see, always this size. So yes, that bump out is there, and it still is zoning compliant, even though it is not a straight line, as we have received the letter from the town acknowledging that fact. So yes, it's not typical, but that parcel is there, and it is part of Plot B.
So in your agreement to make the side yard greater for that one neighbor, I hope it also includes not putting the AC air conditioner units in that, because I'm sure that would create a problem also.
Actually, the AC units are going on that side, and that was not something that they raised. It's permissible. The AC, there's sufficient room. The minimum side yard is 5 feet. The AC units will be over 6 feet away from the property line once we make it 9 feet.
Also, if I may suggest, you can put some plantings around it to, 1, camouflage it, 2, keep the sound down.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
All right, I just was trying to prevent the problem down the road if they come back to us. How did we allow that or something like that?
Well, as I indicated, we wouldn't be looking to put the AC units any closer to the property line than the code allows in the town.
No, I understand that. But did you disclose that to the neighbor that
they were aware? Mr.
Okay,
Edwards
fine.
had the plans, and we discussed it.
Oh, okay, so fine. All right, then I have no further questions, problems, or issues. Thank you for your explanation, Counselor.
Thank you.
Counselor, you understand now that this remains open until Monday at 4 p.m. for public comment?
Yes, sir.
And that we won't take any action until next Thursday.
Correct.
So with that, I'm just going to read the statement since we're closing out the this section of the agenda. Due to the coronavirus emergency and state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings, and pursuant to Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 220.1 issued on March 12, 2020, suspending the open meetings law, the July 16th Planning Commission meeting will be held electronically via Zoom and may be viewed by the public via live stream. as described below. The July 16, 2020 NCPC meeting is the way it will appear. The public may send in their comments for the public portion of the meeting via email to the address below. The NCPC will review and consider these public comments prior to making a final decision. A recording of the meeting will be posted on the Nassau County Planning Commission website. Instead of a public meeting open for the public to attend in person, members of the public may listen to or log into the video conference. Access and instructions for Zoom is available on the Nassau County Planning Department webpage, which can be located at www.nassaucounty.ny.gov/2856/planning-department. Final decisions will be made on the items contained in sections B, C, and E at today's meeting. The Nassau County Planning Commission will be accepting public comments for the public portion of today's meeting by email at ncpc@nassaucounty.ny.gov. The Planning Commission will accept public comments via email for agenda items contained in sections E and D before making a final determination on the matters. The public will have until 4 p.m. on Monday, July 20th, 2020 to email their comments for items contained in agendas items B and D to the email address specified above. Late comments received after Monday, July 20th, 2020 at 4 p.m. will not be accepted nor considered. A second meeting will take place after public comments are received, reviewed, and considered by the Planning Commission for each item contained in agenda sections B and D on Thursday, July 23rd, 2020 at 9 a.m., where the Planning Commission will make a final decision on each item contained in agenda items section B and D. The meeting will also be conducted using a virtual meeting program, and access instructions will be provided on the Nassau County Planning Department homepage. With that being said, I will now turn over the zoning agenda to the Second Vice Chair Shapiro.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good week.
You too.
Okay, Marty, I think we better just go through each item since there's questions on almost everything. So let's start with item number 1. Unmute yourself, Marty.
The first case on the zoning agenda is NCPC case 39220. This is for use parking and loading variances, and this is within the Village Valley Stream. This is a proposed 3-story self-storage facility on a vacant parking lot. Self-storage is not permitted, facility is not permitted in the C2 commercial district. A parking variance is required. This was previously before the Planning Commission on 4/23/2020, at which time the commission requested additional information concerning the parking deficiency for the facility and the impact of the project on the adjacent shopping center that once used the site for parking. A parking traffic analysis was prepared regarding parking. The analysis looked at parking utilization rates at other self-storage facilities in the area or the region in Nassau County, and all were observed to be less than the ITE parking rates. Based on the analysis, it was determined that the site can sufficiently support the activity generated, the parking activity generated by the proposed use. With respect to traffic, the anticipated increase in traffic generated by the facility is minor in comparison to other permitted uses within the zoning district. Concerning the impact of developing the site on the adjacent, which was previously used for parking on the adjacent shopping center. It should be noted that the adjacent shopping center to the east was utilizing the subject property as additional parking pursuant to a lease agreement which has since expired. The owner of the subject property has fenced off the entire parking lot. Therefore, whether or not the subject property is developed with self-storage facility, the shopping center will have no access to the parcel going forward. There are no easements or other agreements of record that would lead.
Marty, are you reading from a printout?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so put the printout where you're facing now.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Here we go. There are no easements or other agreements on record that would legally permit the continued use of the parcel by the shopping center. Staff recommends local determination.
So we got a really big parking lot that's been used for years that is going to become a big self-storage facility. Is that
Right.
in sum what this is all about? I get it that there's no traffic or parking issues with self-storage. They get, you know, 1 or 2 cars per hour or whatever. It's pretty minor.
Right.
Is this a space that could, from a planning perspective, I think self-storage is probably one of the worst things we could be building on Long Island. I get it. The economy's terrible. People, when they get kicked out of their apartments, they put their stuff into self-storage. Then eventually they have problems paying the self-storage, and self-storage sells off their property. I mean, it's it's not a great industry as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't do anything for the community. Is this an appropriate space for it? You're saying from a planning perspective, this is a good place to stick self-storage.
Well, I think on this arterial highway zoning district, it's a better location than if it was located along Merrick Road, which is a different zoning district within the Village of Valley Stream, and it would be, you know, as it's tighter, and it would be more of an impact on homes, and there's enough space here to accommodate the facility without impacting nearby homes. So it's more appropriate than other locations within the Village of Valley Stream.
Self-storage is not permitted in the district, or
It is not permitted use in this district. However, yeah, it isn't permitted.
So you're saying though that it is a good use for this area, that we should.
It's more appropriate in this zoning district, which is more of an arterial highway zoning district, than if it was along Merrick Road, which is a more compact area.
I'm not really following the comparison to a different site. The question is this.
Yeah, I feel it's more appropriate at this location.
Yeah, I think that in this post-COVID era, we're not going to be seeing a lot of developments going on in retail and commercial. So anything that we can put in there now, I think would be an improvement and get it on the tax rolls.
But what happens if I don't know if these storage facilities ever go out of business, but you know, there's no parking, then we have this huge building there, and you know, what happens if something goes out of business and there's no parking then for the next tenant? We don't worry about that. I mean, I
haven't seen these facilities go out of business at this point in time. I haven't seen vacant self-storage facilities. Obviously, they have been proliferating in Nassau County, as you can tell by the number of cases I bring to you. I can't.
We like our stuff.
I can't speak to that.
It never ceases to amaze me why the self-storage market hasn't matured to saturation. And we're building one here in Lynbrook down the block from me, next to one that's across the border in Rockville Center. And as quick as we build them, it seems they fill up. And they are benign use, tax-paying use. They don't send any kids to the school, and they pay school taxes. And they generate sales tax revenue as well as fees, and pay all the local taxes. It's not a sexy use, but it seems to work in the marketplace with all the storage of computers in the cloud and everything, paperwork. It isn't for offices anymore. People are using, as I think someone mentioned earlier, that they're using it for their personal goods and stuff like that. I know people with the internet commerce business that are using the self-storage for their internet commerce business. It seems like it should have been saturated a long time ago, and it isn't. And it's still like the same, build it and they will come.
Do I understand this requires a use variance?
I was just gonna go there, Rick. Yes.
It does require use variance.
Yep.
So
And
does it meet-
that would be my one legal concern. I would think that if you're going to approve it, it should be with a letter that the village should consider reviewing their building code regarding self-storage facilities.
Yes, otherwise
Right.
they should meet the criteria for use variances. And
Right. Well, it can't. No way it's going to meet the criteria.
And
Yeah.
also, what is the plan for that area there? I mean, in terms of like master planning and what the town has in, you know,
There hasn't been a village, I don't think the village has necessarily addressed this area as part of a master plan or comprehensive planning. The village of, they do a lot of things kind of piecemeal and, yeah.
Quite honestly, given our economic downturn that's going to be with us for a while, I don't see any master plans coming out anywhere. I mean, you're going to see a lot of vacancies and closures as a result of this. So
That's true.
if you have an active building where you're going to be collecting revenue and taxes, I think that's, to me, a no-brainer.
Would the commission like to see a letter as concerning this, about reviewing the criteria for these for self-storage facilities within the village? I know somebody mentioned a letter. I forget who, but
Yeah, I mentioned the letter, Marty.
right. So with is that something the commission would like to see, a letter to go along with this?
What's the character of the letter? Without reading the whole thing? What's
what
the
would you-
character?
On the face of it, it doesn't meet the use variance hardship. So I don't know what you could say about it with, either
Bob, what did you have in mind, Bob?
Unless you just.
Well, my suggestion, Neil, would be that the letter, it would be a local determination as far as the application, but as far as the big picture, that the village consider reviewing its building code and as it applies to self-storage facilities and where it's permitted and where it's not
Right.
permitted.
Yeah, a zoning change would be more appropriate than a questionable use variance, which it doesn't meet. The requirements of it.
Fine, I would agree with that. The letter should say, if you're gonna allow these things, maybe you should change the zone and allow them properly.
Right.
That would be the
Okay.
proper way. But, I think Marty's comment about the
Said, Neil.
practicality is appropriate also.
All right, but it's an LD with that letter, so that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
In regards to the comments that the chairman made that are valid.
I agree.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, the next case, zoning.
Well, you know what, Marty, while we're at it, and while we finish, so nobody forgets what's going on, let's just do a motion on that item separately.
Okay.
So that's going to be an LDL.
Correct.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion on NCPC file, let me get it right, 39220.
I think that's correct.
For an LDL advising that a zoning change would be preferred over a use variance for this property, and that we recommend it's the village, I think, right?
Village of Valley Stream.
Village of Valley Stream, consider that as part of this
Going forward. I'll second that.
this application.
LD with a letter.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, do we need to do a roll call on this, Marty, or can we just go with a voice vote?
I'm fine with a voice vote on this.
Okay, great. All right, Marty, go to the next one, number 2.
Okay. Yeah, item number 2 is NCPC case number 623120. And this is in the village of Cedarhurst.
You got to talk into the microphone again.
And
Bring the papers over.
Here we go.
Thank
And
you.
this is for an amendment to the zoning code This is a proposed incentive zoning district for two potential.
Can't hear you, Marty.
Marty can't hear you. You got to face towards the microphone.
I
Sit
am
still.
facing, I can't get any closer.
Well,
You
put
hear
the
me now?
papers,
Bring the
Marty,
papers
put
in
the
front of you.
papers in front of you and move your keyboard, and then you can do it.
I'm close. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. This is a proposed incentive overlay district for two potential development sites within the village. The proposed incentive overlay zone would provide an opportunity to facilitate redevelopment of vacant or underutilized land within the village. The incentives and bonuses that can be granted by the BOT Board of Trustees include adjustments to permissible density, area, height, or other zoning provisions. In exchange, specific or amenities or benefits are given back to the village to help promote revitalization. Development site 1 is 2.47 acres and is comprised of 10 vacant or marginally developed contiguous parcels at the northeast corner of Rockaway Turnpike and Parcel Avenue. The uses on the site are disjointed with no connection between them, with structures and properties that have been neglected and that are in a state of deterioration. There has been a proposed development plan for Site 1. Property owner or contract vendor is Parcel Rock LLC. That the proposed development consists of 3 4-story buildings that would include a total of 111 residential units and ground floor retail space in one of the buildings. Site 1 is surrounded by a mix of commercial, residential, office, and light industrial uses. Access would be on Parcel Avenue. The project would be parking compliant and is within walking distance of the train station. Site 2 is located on the north side of Peninsula Boulevard and consists of about 3.5 acres of a total of 9 acres and will be located to southerly portion of the site. This is the former site of the village's sewer treatment plant. The village DPW facility is located to the rear of this, at the northerly portion of the 9-acre site, and is not part of this overlay district and will remain. The sewage treatment plant has been decommissioned, demolished, and is now mostly a grassed area. There are currently no concrete development plans for this site, Site 2, but a multifamily development consisting of about 130 units is contemplated. Site 2 is vacant and surrounded by some single-family homes, water, the Lawrence High School, and the village DPW facility. An expanded environmental assessment has been prepared that looks at potential impacts of the proposed action. Upon submission of an application from Parcel Rock LLC to develop Site 1, as previously described, the village will, according to my discussions with the village officials, will require a more full-blown traffic impact study than was provided in the expanded environmental assessment. The Planning Commission will more fully review the project when an application is made and it gets referred to the Planning Commission. The proposed overlay district offers the following incentive bonuses: increased residential density, increased height, reduced parking requirements, increased lot coverage, modifications to other dimensional requirements subject to BOT approval. The overlay district requires the following community benefits or amenities at the discretion of the BOT. 1 is public parking or money in lieu of. 2 is open space or parkland or money in lieu of. 3 is infrastructure, road, streetscape improvements or money in lieu of. Staff recommends the local determination with a letter that expresses support of the concept of the incentive overlay district, but that the overlay district should address an affordable housing set-aside pursuant to any village requirements and other requirements of the Long Island Workforce Housing Act as a community benefit. Also, the village and applicant should be made aware of the county model ordinance on inclusionary housing, or which will be attached to this letter. Any comments?
Commissioners,
any comments?
I think we should include some sort of comprehensive traffic study on both these sites as well. I think it looks like it's prepared to be an over-intensification.
Well, they're going to do that. Well, I'll mention it, but that will be a requirement.
I assume so, but I just want to make sure.
Traffic, we'll site traffic study.
So they gotta
studies for
assume they
the
gotta
town.
do a complete secret here too.
It's going to it'll require a coordinated review as a type 1 action, and I'll mention that. Also, I'm sure they know that, but I'll mention that. That's type 1. Okay.
Commissioners,
I'll make a motion for an LDL.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the third case on the zoning agenda is NCPC case number 624-120. This is in the city of Glen Cove, and it's for site plan review and an eventual variance. It didn't come to us as a variance at this point, but it will for parking. This is a
Marty,
proposed-
please talk into the mic and bring your
I'm
papers in
trying.
front of you.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, you got the papers there, just move it towards the microphone.
That's all.
Okay. This is a proposed one-story car sales facility building of about 20,000 square feet for a Jaguar dealership. The proposed dealership is part of the Land Rover dealership property. The building will be erected north of the existing building in an open area currently used for the storage of vehicles. An additional curb cut will be open on Cedar Swamp Road, and an additional curb cut will be open on Kearney Street. The project will require a significant parking variance. 116 spaces required, 15 spaces provided. However, parking for the new Jaguar dealership on lot 16 will share parking with the Land Rover dealership on lot 18, where there is excess parking. Customer parking for the new dealership will be in front of the new building on lot 16, which is sufficient. Lot 18, the Land Rover and Jaguar service lot, will be reserved for employee parking, display of vehicles for sale, and the staging of customer services for service, which will occur in the existing building on the Land Rover lot. No storage of new or used vehicles will be to be displayed for sale will be on either lot. There will be an off-site area for vehicle inventory. To the west are light industrial warehouse uses. To the north, across Kearney Street, are a mix of single-family, two-family, and small multifamily dwellings. To the south, across Seacliff Avenue, is an animal boarding facility. To the east, across Cedar Swamp Road, is a restaurant and other commercial uses. This is a county road and will require 239F approval and review by the Nassau County Traffic Engineering Unit. Staff is recommending that this be deemed incomplete. Chairman, Commissioner Greenfield, could you go over your points with respect to the storage of inventory that you mentioned at the pre-meeting?
Hang on one second. Before
sure.
you do that, Marty, what is the shortfall? What is the overage on the one lot and the shortfall on the other?
The total for lot 16 that will be developed for the Jaguar dealership, I indicate 116 spaces required, 15 spaces provided. I don't have this specific
Okay, so there's
information.
99 spaces that they're short, and they're saying they're going to use the other one as the overflow for the two of them, but we don't know how many excess spots they have.
Well, there's good evidence in the photograph that they're using the entire lot now, 2 lots now, and then I have a picture of their offsite on Seacliff Avenue, and that's full also. So there's a really serious consideration here.
Okay.
If they're planning this properly.
So
what would the commission like to see with this one?
So Marty,
Yes.
What do we do about it?
my motion to mark it incomplete would include the fact that we need them to disclose all their lots for storage and the percentage of capacity available in those lots, as well as their floor plan, i.e. the number of cars they average in inventory on a monthly basis. The floor plan is the technical term for what they finance with whatever finance company they use. So awaiting sale. product awaiting sale. It's just for everyone's benefit. So if they tell us that, and they have room for, let's say, 500 cars on all their lots, and they floor plan calls for 600 cars, there's a problem, Houston. And this 99 shortage becomes even more critical. So I think by marking it incomplete, we need full disclosure and transparency with respect to their present needs.
Commissioner Greenfield, if you could just define what the floor plan means again, the way you.
The floor plan is the technical term for the number of cars or units that they have under finance awaiting sale.
But Jeff, before we consider this, I'm reading that it says there'll be no storage of new or used vehicles that are not displayed for sale on either lot. There
Right,
will be
all inventory will be
Right.
off lot, right.
There will be an off-site area for vehicle
Right.
inventories.
That's what I was told.
Right, so I'm not sure what we're looking for since it's already provided.
Marty, wait a minute. First of all, they're supposed to have 116 spots on the second, on the new lot. There's a 99 car shortage. We don't know what they have on the other lot and how many are excess spots. When you look at the pictures, it looks pretty full.
But
I guess things will change as they build.
Isn't that shortage based on just the size of the property? Not for, is this specific to a car dealership?
Yeah, but it's also based on the size of the building that they have, that they're required to have so many spots.
Right, I understand that, but you're not going to have that much activity at a car dealership where you're going to need 99 spots.
Can I tell you something? Go drive by Volvo and see how many spots are available there.
Well, I'm looking at the corner on Pratt there. You got the Land Rover, and that seems pretty good. I drive past it every day. So
do I.
Look at the photograph.
What are the additional spots for is my question. I think it's built into the square footage of the property. However, does that take into consideration a car dealership? Because if they're just going to be putting the for sale, the only other spots that they would need is for customers. And you're not going to need 99 spots for customers. That's what I'm asking.
Well, they also have, they're doing maintenance on cars. So
Right, where's the service?
They're gonna need staging area for cars for maintenance. They're gonna need the staging areas for customers. They're gonna need parking for customers, and they're gonna need an area for cars for display for outside display for sale.
The picture is worth 1,000 words. The lots are full right now.
Well,
that's going to change. Yeah, that's the current situation.
And don't forget employee parking. Both employees are the sales employees in the showroom as well as the service employees. So maybe we should add there. They should tell us how many employees.
Listen, just so you guys know a little history, that has always been a tough corner going back to when it was Leicester Motors in the 60s. And they've always been lacking of parking. I used to get my car serviced there, and I got to tell you something. You had to be dropped off because it was impossible. So my concern is when they have the two of them there, there's still going to be a major shortfall. And we have to know what that's going to be in order for us to
should we
go forward with this.
Commissioner Shapiro, in that case, should we ask for a parking study, or should we go the route that Commissioner Greenfield want? Maybe we should just ask for a parking study that looks at the comprehensive look at parking.
What Commissioner Greenfield said, because
No, you're right. We got to go with what Commissioner Greenfield has.
The storage amount required. That's what we need. It's incomplete because we don't have that information.
All right, so we'll deem it incomplete. And
listen, they're parking cars up by the old Powers Chemco, which was a polluted site. That's full too. That's where Volvo's parking their cars. I mean, every vacant lot in Glen Cove has cars parked on.
Right.
Is the optional strategy here LD with a letter or LD with a modification that says the project could go forward, but only if you have a plan for the flow of traffic?
Well, I think, Neil, what we need is we need to get all the information before we can do the LDL.
It's more of a management sort of flow issue, isn't it, rather than total numbers? Because this is all owned by one company, so they obviously have a sense of how they think this is all going to work. This is not like, you know, just jumping onto a new site. They're saying, hey, the site we have, we can squeeze a building in here and make it a showroom. So they must, you know, have a way they think this can all work. It's really a question of, okay, you need a flow plan, because it sounds like every time someone likes a car and they want to do a test drive, they're going to run down to the other site and bring the car around to do the test drive. So there's going to be a certain amount of activity here in terms of, but I guess that's the way you got to go. You have one property where there's the showroom and one property where there's the inventory.
Well, you also have something else. By them expanding their showroom, as Jeff said, they're going to have more of a floor plan, because that's going to enable them to have more vehicles in the showroom. Right now, they don't.
Right. Yeah,
It's
they're
very
expanding
limited
it
there.
to expand their business. They're going to put a lot of money into this to generate more business. That means a bigger floor plan, and they're taking parking area away. It needs to be explained. We can't answer. We can't ask the right question.
It's in
Will
any
they
way
be
you
coming back
slice
again?
And any way you slice it, it's incomplete. We need a lot more information. Historically, car dealerships misrepresent the state of their parking, and they try to pack a lot in a small area. And we forced one car dealership in our community, because it was so bad, to resort to a valet parking system.
So if they provided whatever information they have, will they be coming back again, or is this the last time?
No, it'll come back to us because we're deeming it incomplete.
Right.
No, not only on that, I'm just saying under,
It's going to come back on a 239F as well.
Well, it'll come back not to us, but to traffic engineering and the civil site. It'll come back to the other units.
I think the more information that we get, the better chance we have of when it comes back for the 239F, for that information to be there so that they can look at it, you know, with educated guesses.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
do I have a motion for an incomplete?
So moved.
With, and Marty, just go over your motion in writing, send it off to Commissioner Greenfield so that this way he can tweak it.
Okay, we'll do.
Is there a
Okay.
second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thanks. Yes, the next item number 4 is NCPC case number 627120. Let me just put that.
Marty?
Yeah, I had to write something. You can hear me? Okay. This is in town of Oyster Bay, Hamilton, Massapequa. This is for area variances for a substandard subdivision. This is a proposed 2-lot subdivision. The site is occupied by a dormant cape dwelling located mid-site. The applicant is proposing to demolish the dwelling and create 2 lots, each 60 by 100. The R17 zoning district requires a minimum lot frontage of 70 feet and a minimum lot area of 7,000 square feet. The neighborhood is characterized by a mix of lot sizes ranging from 40 by 100 to 80 by 100 lots. The subject property is the largest parcel in the neighborhood. Thus, the proposed subdivision would not establish a precedent for substandard subdivisions. Creating 2 60 by 100 foot lots would be or would not be out of character with the neighborhood. Staff recommends local determination.
Commissioners, any questions? You know what, Marty? Let's do the next LD, which is number 8.
Okay.
And then we could do one motion for all of them.
Okay. All right, item number 8 on the zoning agenda is NCPC case number 528620. This is in the village of Freeport. This is for height and parking variances. This is a proposed 3-story hotel with rooftop penthouse and 100 rooms, a banquet facility, restaurant, marina, and other uses. Much of this lot is currently vacant. The project requires a height variance in which a 3-story hotel with a rooftop penthouse with a height of 48 feet is being proposed, where a minimum of a 3-story building with a maximum height of 40 feet is permitted. A parking variance is required where 259 spaces are required, where a combination of 84 on-site valet and standard parking spaces are provided. The village calculates parking for the hotel based on a number of issues. The hotel, the public assembly, the restaurant, the employees. The plan also proposes 109 attended parking spaces in 2 nearby parking lots and 25 parking spaces off-site and designated for employee parking. These off-site spaces require BZA approval. It should be noted that the use of these 2 off-site lots would not eliminate parking available to patrons of the nautical mile, as one of the lots is owned by the applicant and was previously part of Schooner Restaurant, and the second lot is leased from the Wharfside condo development. The case was before the Planning Commission on 6/4/20, at which time the commission requested a parking traffic study, as well as requesting the number of parking tickets issued in the area. A traffic parking study was prepared. The consultant applied ITE parking generation standards for hotels and restaurants to estimate parking demand associated with the proposed project. Based on the analysis, the unadjusted parking demand would exceed the provided capacity during typical summer weekday and Saturday. However, this assumes a hotel, restaurant, and banquet hall are operating at 100% capacity. All the peak parking demand occurs simultaneously, and that there is no interaction between the proposed uses. According to the study, past experience with similar projects revealed that a substantial number of the parked cars would be utilizing more than one use when on site. In order to provide a more realistic analysis of the parking demand generated by the proposed project, a percentage of the parking associated with the hotel was removed from the parking generation computation. The vehicles that were removed from the computation represent the shared vehicles. Discussions with the Inn at Fox Hollow, which is located in, I think, Syosset, or Woodbury, indicated that an estimated 60% of guests at the inn attended an event at the catering facility. As such, the consultant reduced the estimated number of parked cars associated with the hotel use by 60%. The new peak parking demand associated with the proposed project are 186 parked vehicles, which is 85% capacity, and 194 parked cars on a Friday and Saturday. 184 parked vehicles and 194 parked cars on Friday and Saturday, respectively. The traffic analysis determined that the traffic activity generated by the proposed project is not anticipated to cause any undue problems on the surrounding road network. The analysis revealed that all of these studied intersections will operate at or under capacity under the proposed condition. However, minor signal timing adjustments could be performed to reduce delays within the study area. It should be noted that the traffic analysis was performed on a Friday and Saturday in August of 2019, obviously prior to the pandemic. With respect to parking tickets issued, the following data was provided. Between 5/28/2018 to 9/3/2018, 216 parking tickets were issued. Between 5/27/2019 to 9/2/2019, 365 parking tickets were issued.
Marty, what's the relevance of these parking tickets?
What's that?
What's the relevance of
Well, I think somebody, I'm not sure which commissioner, maybe it was Commissioner Shapiro or somebody wanted to know, well, because of the, I guess, because of the difficulty it is to park there.
Mr. Chairman, I asked the question because you have
right, you asked it, okay.
A place known as the Nautical Mile, which is Woodcliff Avenue,
Right.
that attracts a lot of people for restaurants and bars and such. And it's basically a big, parking ticket trap. There's all these things that draw people to Farm and Freeport, But when they get there, there's absolutely no parking. So the parking takes place largely in the residential neighborhoods behind the area where all the activity is. And the fact that they're hitting people with 350 tickets in the summer, I don't know, it's an interesting number. I'd have to look at the number more closely to see what it really means. But it seems to me it's a revenue generating mechanism for the village, and there seems to be a kind of disconnect between basic business and you're attracting large numbers of people to a place and you don't provide parking. And so,
Marty, isn't that a parking lot across from the project?
Yeah, that's part of the site. Yeah, that's owned by the applicant. It's across, and there are a couple of off-site parking lots also to be utilized, in addition to employee parking at the Village Recreation Center further north.
Right. So what is that? What is that lot used for now?
Across, I think it was vacant at this point in time. It wasn't utilized.
One lot, Chairman, is a village municipal lot, and one lot is privately owned. And
yeah, that's a village lot. The larger lots you see to the north, those are village lots. So one across the street is another lot, but that's not a village lot. That's owned by the applicant.
Right. That's exactly right, Marty. And those lots, this picture was taken in the off season because they fill up very promptly. And Commissioner Lewis has a lot to be said. I agree with him that it's income property for the village. They attract people to that neighborhood, and then you get ticketed. So the way to avoid it is not to go. But this whole project, in my mind, I can't support because it's an over-intensification of use.
Okay.
And to use the analogy of the Scotto brothers and their site, totally different site, a lot more land and a lot more parking and a lot more skill. And they valet park and they stack park and they do a very good job. The Scotto brothers there at Fox Hollow, they're experienced operators. They commingle their parking between their hotel and their restaurant and their catering venue, and they do it well. And it's a lot more acreage up there, and it's not landlocked. The other problem with making this landlocked is this is at the dead end, and that's very significant. It is at the dead end of Woodcliff Canal and Woodcliff Avenue, and the Nautical Mile, as it's called. And cars will get down there. It's going to be one holy mess. It's just too much. And for that reason, I can't support it.
Okay.
I would like to add to Commissioner Greenfield's comments by specifics about the parking study. And they're talking about 25 spaces for employees. That's to cover 25 employees for a 100-room hotel, a public space that would require otherwise 100 car spaces, parking spaces. So perhaps for 150 people, perhaps with catering, a restaurant capacity of perhaps 50 to 75, and that's 25 employees for all that.
So you're saying that's an underestimation of the number of employees?
I believe it is.
Okay.
And then when you look at their 60% reduction at Fox Hollow, that's not a scenic destination. This is right on the water, and people will stay in the hotel because they want to be there. And then the affairs that go on in the public area, that 60% isn't correct. But when you take that estimate of 194 spaces for 89% capacity and turn it around, what's the total capacity? It comes out to exactly 218, which is exactly the number of spaces they're proposing. So I wonder how that 60% happened to calculate to precisely 100% capacity. It's just an incredible coincidence.
So we're saying,
furthermore,
I'm really getting a little lost in the woods here.
Yeah.
So we don't want to approve it because it's going to be too popular?
Well, I think Chairman Greenfield indicated that it was an over-intensification of use for that particular site. in context to where it is on the nautical mile. I don't know.
Where's
does the commission-
where's there another hotel in that area? What's the closest hotel?
Well, there isn't one on nautical mile, I don't think. I know
the closest hotel, Marty, is over on Sunrise Highway by the Meadowbrook Parkway. But I don't
as
know
I
why
understand,
that-
it is a nice effort to fix up an abandoned and sort of
That's what I
decaying
said.
area where there's nothing currently there that has been sort of an eyesore for a long time.
You know, perhaps they're going to have to think about shuttling their employees' parking and maybe some overnight guest spots. They're going to have to buy something somewhere else and then provide a shuttle, just like LaGuardia, JFK. I mean, they have people, you know, employees parking far away, and then you've got to be shuttled in.
I would think they would have to be shuttled to that spot at the Village Recreation Center. I don't know where that is. It's further north off this aerial. I would think they can't walk to the, but
isn't that something they can do in their plan to make sure that their business runs efficiently and well, and that the site can pay their taxes and their bills?
Nicely, because nobody's going to go there if they go to work and get a $50 parking ticket.
I mean, they have to think about what needs, you know, how they're going to make it work. I mean, certainly, I think, you know, it would be an improvement to have something like that there. It's a beautiful. It could be beautiful to stay in and dine there and have affairs, but really the parking is terrible. I mean, it always has been. I mean, I used to go to the Schooner restaurant many years ago with my family, and it's never been a place where you didn't have to worry about, you know, parking. Yes, there was a valet parking across the way, but now you're talking about something much bigger than the Schooner restaurant. So it will just be a nightmare unless they figure out, you know, some sort of a shuttle system, or I don't know what, but they really have to figure it out.
It reminds me of a yogiism. Nobody wants to go there. It's too crowded.
I just want to mention that there is a closer hotel on Main Street in Freeport.
Yeah, but this is going to be on the water. I think it's a nice addition to that area, but.
Does the commission want to LD it with a letter, or I'm not sure how they want to? I think it's split at this point.
So Marty, to answer your question, I'm not Marty Glennon. I'm not against the development. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's too much. That too many rooms in a hotel, too big a catering hall, and too big a restaurant. And if they all are 100% occupied at the same time, it's going to be one hell of a parking mess there. And they underestimate, if they're running a catered party, they're running a restaurant, running a hotel, 25 employees, that's not realistic.
Jeff, can you recommend a letter? LD with a letter?
What would the letter say? I'd be willing to hear that, what we propose to say in the letter.
Well, that's what he's asking you.
Oh.
I think Chairman Commissioner Greenfield probably would like to see it scaled down to something more manageable, given its location. But that, you know, rather than a letter, but I don't know how.
A letter expressing, I could go along with a letter expressing our serious concerns and reservations about the over-intensification of use, and if it's 100% utilized for all three functions, the demands on parking, and the understatement of the number of employees.
And the understatement in the number of parking spaces. And
right, and that impacts the parking spot.
The coincidence that their parking study happens to come out with exactly the number of spaces they're proposing. That's an incredible coincidence.
You know, maybe the letter would say, given the activity down there during the summer months, that you look into off-premises, off-area parking for employees, so the parking situation is not exacerbated.
Well, that's what they're proposing off-site for the employees, but that may be underestimation of the number of employees, 25.
Well, I almost think that the real issue was raised by Commissioner Lewis in terms of the off-site parking and the tickets, right? So I'm almost convinced that if the village really wants this, then they're gonna have to work with who's ever gonna develop it and alleviate some of the burden on the parking tickets and allow, on-street parking. Because I do think it's a good development. I do agree that parking is a bear, but I also look at the number of tickets in 2 days, and I think that's gonna work against them. So I think if you put that in the letter, it's something that they're gonna have to consider. If they really want that project, what are they gonna do to make sure that they retain the people that they want going into the area and not discourage it?
Those number of tickets, not in 2 days. Those are 4-month periods.
Oh, I thought it said 2 days. Oh, I got you. Okay.
And I think
Over
that
the
we have to
weekends,
consider the impact on the
4 months.
other businesses, where we know there's already a parking problem in the area, and this is a major new project.
Yeah, but the hotel's gonna add to the businesses. They're all restaurants down there, so that's gonna be a boom for them.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to go there if it's so crappy, so they don't get my business. So,
Well,
minus one.
So which
So
one
does
is
it give-
Otto's, Marty? Is that the one right on north of this?
That's the first one.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what I
first
thought, yeah.
And it's very nice upstairs. You get a beautiful view when you eat in the public dining room upstairs. I've been there.
Yeah.
I would support a local determination with a letter saying that the village should take serious efforts to do broader analysis of parking in the area and making sure that the economic development that they want to see in the area has sufficient parking to legal sufficient parking.
That's a good one.
I understand the chairman's point. This is a tough time to be saying no to every project. But I just have a problem with voting for projects that have insufficient parking in a village that's known for having insufficient parking already. So, but maybe that's an in-between position.
Okay.
I would support what you proposed, Neil.
Okay, so how about I make that as the motion? It's a local determination with a letter calling upon the village to develop a more comprehensive parking plan for people that come into the village for all the various attractions that they have.
I'll second that.
I'll also add about that there's serious concerns about intensification at this location. So, okay.
Marty Katz, with that added to the letter, in addition to what Commissioner Lewis said, I could vote for it now. Now I'm on board. Both points are important, critical points.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any
Okay,
opposed?
which one now?
Okay, let's go to, so we got 8 done.
If I may, Lenny, if I may, for 1 minute, just let the record reflect that Commissioner Ellaby was recused from the case because it is Freeport.
Okay. Commissioner Ellaby is excused. Let's do number 9.
Okay, number 9. That's NCPC case number 623-220, City of Glen Cove. This is for an amendment to an approved site plan. This is an amendment to the Villas at Glen Cove approved site plan in which 176 residential condominium units will be converted to 176 residential rental units. Also, the number of bedrooms will be reduced from 320 to 278. In addition, the height of all the buildings will be reduced by no longer providing private roof bulkheads or private rooftop terraces. Roofs would remain flat on these on 5 of the 6 buildings, and these buildings would be reduced by 1 to 2 stories. Also, the applicant has recently purchased over 1/2 acre of an adjacent property to be used as outdoor amenity space for the villa residences. An environmental assessment was prepared to assist the city planning board in determining whether the amended project would result in significant adverse environmental impacts not addressed in the FEIS, as that one was prepared for the approved project. The report concluded that the amended project would not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts not previously addressed in the FEIS. Therefore, a supplemental EIS is not warranted, and the consultant recommended that the planning board amend its findings and approve the amended site plan. It'll actually have less of an impact than the currently approved site plan, so I don't have any issues with this one at all. And
Is there going to be on these rentals, is there any workforce housing?
Yes, this is, if that there is work, the city has, yes, I think it's 10% in accordance with the city. I don't think it's 20, I think it's 10%, but it's part of it's been part of the plan.
Marty, is this too far for being a TOD?
Yes, this is not TOD as far as I know, right, Commissioner Shapiro? This is.
Yeah, it's too far away.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on the opposite side of town going out up Glen Cove Avenue.
Yeah, I'm looking at a map now. Yeah, it's quite a walk.
You're actually closer to the Seacliff train station.
Yeah, this has been in the works through the secret, wending its way through the secret process, or winding its way for several years already. And what they're proposing actually is less intense, somewhat less intensive than what they had.
But where are we on the parking here, Marty? I mean, you're talking about 176.
Yeah, they're parking compliant.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
How much parking do they require per unit? Is it only 1.5? Is that why?
I think it's 2, but I have to check that. But they are parking compliant.
Okay.
Hold on, you're telling me there's going to be 352 spots there?
Well, it's a mix of structured parking and some surface parking. That part of the site plan isn't being amended. It's that's already been pretty much vetted out and approved by the village, the city, I should say.
How many acres is it, Marty? Do you have that?
How many what?
Acres.
I don't have I don't have it in my staff summary.
Okay.
But as you can see, it's fairly.
It's a big piece of property. I mean, it's on the way up the hill. It's on the east side.
Yeah, I know the property. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a nice big hole in the ground right now.
That little finger that you see to the north, that was recently purchased by the applicant to provide outdoor amenity space for the residents of.
Well, since it's approved and they're scaling it back, I don't see an objection.
Marty, I just had a question though. You said that these buildings will be reduced by 1 to 2 stories.
Yeah, the height has been reduced. Obviously, that was a major contention for some of the homes to the east, to the residential neighborhood to the east, and they've lowered the buildings. They've reduced the height of the buildings.
Well, the other thing is that by reducing the height of the buildings and making it a rental, they don't have to worry about people having water views, which they had before. When they were going to sell them, they wanted the water views because you look right over the harbor.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Probably.
And as a rental, what you see is what you get. That's it.
And also on rental, it's easier financing for them.
That's right. So, do we have a motion?
Did you want to do 10?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do 10. Sorry about that.
Okay. Item number 10 on the zoning agenda is NCPC case number 628220. This is in the village of Great Neck Plaza. This is for an extension of a moratorium. The village is proposing a second extension, for 4 months of a building moratorium for development projects within the village containing 3 or more residential dwelling units. The initial moratorium that was for 9 months, that was issued an LD by the Planning Commission, was adopted in May of 2019 in order for a consultant to complete a study on the effect of substantial residential development projects within the village by evaluating factors affecting the quality of life of village residents, such as traffic, parking, village appearance, aesthetics, demand for public service. The first extension is set to expire July 24, 2020. That was issued an LD by the Planning Commission.
Marty,
Yes.
You had that as a 9-month extension, the first extension?
The first moratorium was 9 months. The first extension was 4 months.
So there were already
Okay.
12, there were already.
Right. Well, let me explain. I'm going to continue to read.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Due to the restrictions on commercial and business activities imposed by reasons of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as alterations of normal village patterns and practices and activities, the village has not yet received the recommendations of the consultant it retained to assist in the study, has not been able to obtain accurate information relevant to the study, and as a result has not been able to complete the evaluation. Thus, the proposed 4-month extension. From my perspective, it would be warranted given the situation that the village and all the other communities are working under with respect to this.
Agreed. Let's vote. I'm running late. I got 18
Okay.
appointments this afternoon.
So
what was our first extension, Marty?
4 months that the commission issued a local determination.
That was the first extension? They're
Right.
coming for an additional 4 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Why are
Okay,
we why are we doing 4-month extensions? Wouldn't it be better to just do a 6-month?
That's all they're asking.
Okay. They're not gonna get it done though, I'm telling you.
Oh.
Not with the way things are, and they still haven't gotten back to normal, so they're gonna come back to us in another couple of months and say, hey, we couldn't do it.
So at that, I'd make a motion for a local determination on agenda items 4, 9, 4, 8, and 10.
No, 4, 9, and 10.
Is it 9?
Was it 9?
We voted on 8.
We
4,
voted
9,
on
and
8.
10.
4, 9, and 10, sorry.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, which ones now? You want to hear?
Okay, you still have 2, 7, 5, and 6.
Okay, let me run these. Let me run number 2.
Oh, wait a minute, we did 2.
We did
That was an
2.
LDL. So you
Right.
have 7, 5, 5, 7, 5, 6,
5,
and
6,
7.
7.
Okay, let me do 5. This is NCPC case number 628-120, Town of North Hempstead, Hamlet, and Manhasset. It's for a conditional use. This is a proposed 7-Eleven convenience store of about 2,800 square feet. The site is currently occupied by vacant order-related use that will be demolished to accommodate the project. The project is parking and zoning required, but does require a conditional use for the convenience store. It is located within downtown Manhasset. The site has 2 access points, one on Plandome Road and one on a small side street, West Side Hill, Crest Avenue. The formal order-related use on the site created some historical soil contamination issues that have been vetted through Phase 1 ESA and a Phase 2 ESA, which is an environmental site assessment. And there's been concluded that no further action is required regarding Phase 2 subsurface investigation. To the north are 2-story storefronts. To the east is a martial arts school fronting on the site aforementioned side street to the east, beyond which are homes. To the south is a 2-story bank. To the west across Plandome Road is commuter parking in the train station. Staff recommends local determination with a letter that addresses the issue of left turn ingress and egress, which may be problematic. And this is not a county road. I think this stretch of Plandome Road is a town road, therefore won't be subject to 239F.
It's a scam.
What's that? Yeah, okay. So
So
that's that.
so the recommendation's an LDL with the letter restricting left turns.
Well, addressing that issue should be investigated, yeah.
Right. I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Aye. Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
What are we on now, 6?
6.
Okay, that's NCPC case number 628-220. This is in the village of Roslyn. This is an amendment to the zoning code. The village BOT proposes the creation of the TMU Transit-Oriented Mixed-Use District for property across from the Roslyn Railroad Station, currently occupied by a small vacant strip shopping center and and a parking lot in order to encourage development that takes advantage of its proximity to the Long Island Railroad Station and provides for a mix of uses appropriate for its unique location within the village. To the north is a use called the Vienna Kitchen Social House. I don't know if it's a restaurant. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a restaurant. To the east are the Long Island Railroad tracks, beyond which is a residential neighborhood. To the south, across Warner Avenue, is a commuter parking lot for the railroad station, the Long Island Railroad platform, and the Roslyn Fire Station. To the west is a 2-story Verizon building, beyond which is a 3- and 4-story Sun Harbor nursing home. The proposed zoning district would permit residential apartments as a principal use at a maximum of 30 units per acre, except as may be increased pursuant to the incentive bonuses of the proposed zoning district. No apartments would be at street level fronting a street. An array of retail, office, service, and restaurant uses are also permitted principal uses, and they would be ground floor. A maximum of 4 stories is permitted along Warner Avenue. Under certain circumstances, 4 stories above parking level is permitted. A maximum FAR of 208 is permitted. The district, proposed district does allow for incentive zoning that permits a mechanism to make adjustments to permissible density, lot coverage, and lot coverage. Community benefits would be required in exchange for approving the incentive bonuses. These may be open space, parks, recreation facilities, landscaping, infrastructure improvements, pedestrian amenities, streetscape improvements. Staff recommends modification as the proposed district it is unclear as to whether or not the relaxation of parking height and setback requirements are part of the zoning incentives, as different things are said in different parts of the proposed district, which are contradictory. This should be clarified. The height requirements are somewhat confusing the way it's described, and should be visually depicted with building elevations, profiles from different vantage points provided, because the property does exhibit the change in elevation. Also, there is no mention of the provision providing affordable housing set aside as a community benefit amenity pursuant to either the village requirements or the Long Island Workforce Housing Act. If density exceeds maximum allowable density, which would be the case if they ask for a density incentive. And also, it should address the Nassau County's model ordinance for inclusionary housing that would be attached to this modification.
Okay, I make a motion for the modification pursuant to staff's recommendations.
There's a second.
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 All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Number
Any
7
opposed?
now?
Was that?
Motion carries.
Okay, sorry.
All right, now number 7.
Okay, this is NCPC case number 629-120. This is also in the village of Roslyn. This is for area variances. This is a proposed 4-story residential building consisting of 32 2-bedroom units on 1.4 acres.
Marty, hold on a minute.
Yes.
Do you know who the owners are of 45 Lumber Road?
I will have to get the file out and see if that, if that information is provided in the application.
The owner also owns 55, the adjoining property.
I'm sorry, say again?
The owner is a partner in 55 Lumber Road.
So do you know who that is, Rick?
Anecdotal information that I know, that I've heard of.
Rick, do you know who that is?
Yeah, it's, darn it. I have brain freeze. I'll let you know in a minute. I'll remember.
Eddie Blumenfeld?
No.
Okay.
It's Ian Zwerling. Ian Zwerling is a partner in 55. I believe he owns.
Okay. All right, then I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Marty.
Okay. The subject property is located within the village's WD-O Waterfront Development Overlay District. And the underlying district is a waterfront mixed-use district, WD. The following variances are required. Density, maximum of 16 units are allowed, 33 units are proposed per acre. Height, maximum 2.5 stories, 35 feet permitted, 4 stories, 58 feet proposed. FAR, maximum 0.40 permitted, 1.48 proposed. The project is parking compliant. This was previously before the Planning Commission on 9/5/2019 for a 12-story building with 27 units, which was denied by the Planning Commission. The subject.
So Marty,
Yes.
this is where I got lost. So they went down from 12 stories to 4 stories?
Right.
And there's actually more units?
Yeah, it was like the initial one was like a needle.
Okay.
I've never seen anything like it, so it was like a needle.
I do remember it coming before us, and I thought.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it before or since for that kind. But they tried and they threw it against the wall and something.
Yeah, I just want to make sure there wasn't a typo, that's all.
No. The subject property is improved with a 1-story building for vehicle storage and maintenance. It's surrounded by, to the north is a 1-story multi-use commercial building. To the east is the Hempstead Harbor Creek, beyond which are 3-story condos. To the south is a vehicle repair warehouse building. To the west is structured parking for the Roslyn Hotel that fronts on Old Northern Boulevard. A parking traffic analysis was prepared that concluded that the project provided ample parking to accommodate peak demand, and that the volume of traffic generated by the proposed development is not anticipated to impact the level of service of surrounding road network. The village BOT may provide incentive bonuses in exchange for one or more of the following public benefits. 1, public pedestrian and/or vehicle access to the waterfront or water-dependent uses. 2, pedestrian linkages between contiguous uses or between the waterfront and downtown. 3, infrastructure, streetscape improvements. 4, traffic signalization improvements on public streets that may be impacted by the project. The applicant is proposing the following public amenities. 1 is to repair and replace 250 feet of bulkheading. 2 is construct 250 feet of waterfront walkway. 3, obtain approval from Nassau County DPW to make road improvements to the intersection of Lumber Road and Old Northern Boulevard, which is a county road. 4, provided at its cost, at the applicant's cost. 4, provide an easement to the village for perpetual and unobstructed public use onto the public walkway along the waterfront. Staff is recommending, I think this is an improvement to the previous project. And as they are requesting development incentive bonuses, that's why it's higher density and higher height than is allowed under the underlying zone. Staff recommends local determination with a letter, again, that addresses the set aside of affordable housing units pursuant to village law if it applies, or pursuant to the Long Island Workforce Housing Act. And again, with an attachment of the county model ordinance for inclusionary housing.
Marty, I know this area well, and there are a number of properties that have been developed right in that area that required zoning variances. And I would suggest, in addition to what you put in the LDL, is perhaps the village ought to consider a zoning change, just as they have near the Roslyn train station. So that. Well,
this is an overlay district. It's a different overlay district. This is a waterfront overlay district. The one in near the train station is more of a. So it'll be a second overlay district.
Well, what I'm saying is, yeah, I understand. But what I'm saying is that this is like creeping changes in the zoning, and the village ought to establish what they really want, rather than piecemeal.
I agree.
Well,
there's other buildings that are rumored to be, doing the same thing.
It's almost spot zoning.
That's going to be developed.
I don't know if it's spot zoning in that the overlay district does permit these kinds of developments. So I don't really know if it's spot zoning. I think the village had kind of envisioned the redevelopment of Lumber Avenue to accommodate these kinds of uses. That's my opinion.
But that doesn't hurt to ask
them what they want, in this area. You know, it's a substantial variance request, and the village ought to state really what they really want. So, you know, I'm not against this particular proposal, but I think the village should consider really studying the area and decide what they want in terms of future development.
Okay, I'll mention something on that in that regard.
Okay, good. Can we move?
Okay, so do I have a motion on, which one are we on?
Fine.
Numbers,
No, 7, NCPC
Seven.
case number, zoning case number 7.
Yes, I'll make a
So
motion
moved.
on NCPC case, item number 7, that staff recommendation for set-asides be included in an LDL, and that the village consider analyzing the zoning of this area so that future development will be consistent and what they want.
second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Motion to adjourn.
Have
Nope.
a good weekend, everyone.
Wait a
See you
minute,
next Thursday.
Mr. Chairman, don't you have to
The
read
chairman's
the
closing statement.
closing statement?
Well, that's why I did it before we did the zoning.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
okay, fine.
I was paying attention. My goodness.
Everybody stay healthy.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Good
See you
night.
guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Social distance.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yep.
Stay safe.
Yeah, good, gang. Take care. Be safe.